Hi guys, gotta admit, I'm a bit late to the party on this one, but on today's video I'm going to be reviewing the ASICS GEL-KAYANO 30. And yes, you're probably familiar with the Kayano line as being a stability trainer, but if you are a neutral runner, don't go anywhere. This shoe's probably going to work for you. Let's get into it. It's time for some disclosures. Guys, this video is a partnership with Roadrunner Sports, and Roadrunner Sports was good enough to send me the GEL-KAYANO 30 for the purpose of review. However, they're not going to get a chance to see this video before you do, and all the thoughts and opinions are my own. And with that, the GEL-KAYANO will cost you $160, and of course I will place a link to it in the show notes below if you want to pick up a pair for yourself. Now, the GEL-KAYANO is a max cushion stability trainer, but it is just as good for neutral runners as it is for runners that overpronate. And that's according to ASICS, and I think this is a good direction that we're seeing stability trainers go, because in the last couple of years we've done away with all the serious stability elements. You know, those elements that actually change how your foot hits the ground. And nowadays we're getting these stability shoes that actually provide a little guidance rather than actual stability. And it's a good thing because it opens up these shoes to a wider range of runners and more of us can benefit from them. Now, keep in mind that I am a neutral runner, so I can't really attest to the Kayano's ability to kind of adjust my gait if I was overpronating, but I'm going to tell you all about the shoe and how comfortable it is. And if you do overpronate or you're a neutral runner, this shoe is probably going to be one you want to take a look at. Now, the GEL-KAYANO 30 has seen a lot of improvements over the 29, but I get sometimes you want to buy last year's model maybe to save a little bit of money. And if you are interested in the GEL-KAYANO 29, I did review that last year, and I'll place a link to that review in the comments below. With this year's model, ASICS has increased the stack height by 4mm. We now have 40mm in the heel, 30mm in the forefoot for a 10mm drop. Now, on ASICS website, they do say the sample size is 10.6 ounces or 303 grams. I'm going to assume that's a US men's size 9, but in my size, a US men's size 13, the GEL-KAYANO tips the scale at 12.9 ounces or 367 grams. And that's actually a little improvement over the Kayano 29, which in my size weighed in at 13.2 ounces or 375 grams. So it's good to see they're heading in the right direction, at least in my size. I think in the sample size, the 30 is just slightly heavier than the 29. Now, if you care about the environment, and I'd like to find someone that says they don't care about the environment, but if you look here on the sock liner, right in here, it says that the carbon footprint of the Kayano 29 is 10.7 kilograms of CO2. Guys, that's 14% less than the industry standard. And that's always good news. ASICS is heading in the right direction, and also 75% of the materials in the upper are made with recycled materials. And there's a lot more eco-friendly stuff as we come down, but we'll get to that. But as always, let's start at the top. Let's work our way down. I'm going to hold it up. Guys, this is just as you would expect by looking at it. We have a very plush heel collar. I mean, you look at this shoe and you just want to go out and take it easy and have this shoe baby your feet. The heel counter is very rigid. I mean, it's like a rock. Your heel is going nowhere when this goes in. I didn't have any heel slip. I very much doubt you will either. The upper is made from an engineered stretch knit. It just feels like it's high quality materials that they've used. And of course, with that high quality materials, it's probably the thickness that I'm feeling. I did find that the Kayano 30 didn't breathe as well as some other shoes, but it's important to keep in mind that I live and train in Florida, and it's a little warm down here. So it's very rare that I find a pair of shoes that actually keep my feet cool. There aren't too many overlays on the Kayano 30. We got the logo here on the lateral side, the medial side. We've got some overlays coming up the eyelet chain, and of course a few reflective elements here on the heel, just so the cars can see you if they're coming up behind you in the dark. And then there is an underlay right around the toe box, just keeping that upper off your toes. As far as fit goes, the Kayano 30 does fit true to size. It fits me the same as every other ASICS that I've worn, and it also fits me the same as most other brands. I found the upper and the fit of the Kayano 30 to be very agreeable. Now, if you watched a few of my videos, you know I always say it, my feet are fairly narrow. But at least for my feet, I had plenty of room in the Kayano 30. I had absolutely no issues. I think it would fit people with much wider feet than me. And really, just overall, it is a textbook daily trainer. It gives a lot of support and a lot of comfort. Let's come down to the midsole. As you can see by this little logo right here, Adidas is using their Flight Foam Blast Plus, but this is Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco, which I'll spell it out for you. It's their eco-friendly version of the Flight Foam Blast Plus. And ultimately, it is the same as regular Flight Foam Blast Plus, but it does use 20% of bio-based materials to make the midsole. And if I'm honest, I think the regular Flight Foam Blast Plus is a little more responsive, but unless you actually have a pair of shoes with Flight Foam Blast Plus and you run in those and then you run in these, I don't think anyone is going to actually notice the difference. The difference isn't huge, but there is a slight difference. Oh, now just like the Nimbus 25, ASICS is including Pure Gel. Now the gel in the Kayano 30 is no longer visible, but Pure Gel is a little circle of gel, and it's strategically placed right in the center of the heel, and that supposedly gives you a smoother ride. ASICS also claims that the Pure Gel is 65% softer than the visible gel, but as I don't have access to that Pure Gel to actually get my durometer in there to test it, we'll just take their word for it for now. ASICS is also using their brand new 4D guidance system, and you can see the 4D guidance system branding right here. Basically, that 4D guidance system is comprised of 4 elements. Bet you didn't figure that out. First of all, we've got the increased heel bevel, and this increased heel bevel is going to give you controlled impacts and smooth transitions. Now, the second component of the 4D guidance system, you can see it right here. It's quite a nice aesthetic part of the shoe. That's their sculpted midsole, and that's going to provide more lateral compression, again contributing to a smoother and more structured ride. The third component of the 4D guidance system is this energetic medial foam, and this is actually quite soft. In fact, before I tell you what it does, let's pull out the durometer and let's just see how much softer it is than the Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco. Okay, so let's start off with the Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco. We have a durometer reading of 37 in the heel, 36 in the forefoot, and this energetic medial foam, this gray part on my colorway, let's see, that comes in at 26 in the back part of it, 26 in the front. So yeah, it's substantially softer than the rest of the midsole foam. And ASICS claim that this energetic medial foam guides the foot to the best position after every landing. Again, can't really test that specifically, but I do know that the Kayano 30 feels good with each of my landings. So at least for me, that's good enough. And finally, the fourth element of the 4D guidance system is this wide base net. And this is probably the simplest element, but a wider base to the shoe provides a more stable platform for running. And now that we're here on the bottom, you're going to see we have a lot of outsole rubber, got some flex screws coming through it. Let's just give that a bend. That's nice and flexible, actually. This is the first time I've done it. Yeah, the Kayano 30 has a lot of flex. And then we've got the AHA Plus here on the bottom, which is a slightly firmer formulation of their outsole rubber. And for those of it, the heel strike, it's right here on this lateral rear heel. That's where we're going to touch down first. And that's where we're going to get a lot of wear. So they put a higher density compound here on the back, and it just protects the shoe, makes it last a little longer. As far as durability goes, yeah, I think this shoe is going to be above average. Oh, if you're still here, I want to know, how long do you usually keep your running shoes for? I know that when you Google something like that, it says to replace your shoes every 300 miles, but I think a lot of you hold on to them for a lot longer. I know that before I started reviewing shoes, I would hold on to my shoes for at least 400 miles. And looking at this and the wear I've got after my testing, it's very minimal wear, and I'm going to say this is going to last at least 400 miles. Okay, so who is this shoe for? Well, let's talk about the ride first, because the ride is exactly what you would expect, or it's exactly what I would expect. It is very comfortable. It is as comfortable as it looks. And of course, this shoe is going to fit right in to your easy runs, your recovery runs, you know, the type of runs that you do more than any other run. It seems silly to say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. This shoe probably isn't the best shoe to choose for picking up the pace. And that is only because there are other options out there. There are lighter shoes. There are shoes that are made to just have quicker transitions and turn over a lot faster, and basically shoes that perform better at speed. This, the Kayano 30, is for your everyday run. Now, if this was your only shoe, of course, you can pick up the pace in it. I do strides after most of my easy runs just to get my legs turning over, and the shoe feels fine when you start picking up the pace. But just keep in mind, that is not what this shoe is for. This shoe is for your easy runs. This is the shoe that you grab when you just want to take care of your body, go out and just churn out those miles. Okay, so I want to hear from you. Which is your daily trainer of choice? It doesn't have to be ASICS, but let me know in the comments. Oh, and I also want to know if you have ever run in a stability-focused shoe, like the Kayano 30. And of course, if you own the Kayano 30 already, let me know your thoughts about it. And for now, it's Matt B. This has been my review of the ASICS GEL-KAYANO 30. Be kind, be happy, run well. See you in a couple of days.